Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. Before we read Srimad Bhagavatam, let's invoke the blessing of the Lord. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatirmirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshururmilitam Yena तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। ईश्वरः परमा कृष्णः सच्चिदानन्दविग्रहः अनादिरादिर्गोविन्दः सर्वकारणकारणम्। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद। Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So let me share my screen. So we have been reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, and we were at 4th chapter. Friday, Shri Krishna Prabhu finished at verse number 13. So today is verse number 14. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Vyasadeva ki jai. Sutta vacha dvapare samanu prapte Trite yuga parayeye jata parasarad yogi vasavyam kalaya hare. Suta Goswami Uvacha said, Dwapare, in second millennium, Samanu Prapte, on the advent of Tritiya, third, Yuga, millennium, Paryaye, in place of Jata, was begotten. Parasarat, by Parashara. Yogi, the great sage. Vasavyam, in the womb of the daughter of Vasu. Kalaya, in the plenary portion. Harehe, of the personality of Godhead. Translation. Suta Goswami said, when the second millennium overlapped the third, the great sage Vyasadeva was born to Parashara in the womb of Satyavati, the daughter of Vasu. Purport. There is a chronological order of the four millenniums, namely Satya, Dwapara, Treta, and Kali. But sometimes there is overlapping. During the regime of Vaivasvata Manu, there was an overlapping of 28th round of the four millennium, and the third millennium appeared prior to second. In that particular millennium, Lord Shri Krishna also descends, and because of this, there was some particular alteration. The mother of the great sage was Satyavati, the daughter of Vasu, fisherman, and the father was the great Parashar Muni. That is the history of Vyasadeva's birth. Every millennium is divided into three periods, and each period is called a Sandhya. Vyasadeva appeared in the third Sandhya of that particular age. Next, number 15. Sakadachit Saraswatya upasprashya jalam suchihi विविक्त एक आसीन उदिते रविमंडले सा ही कदाचित once Sarasvatya on the bank of Saraswati. Upasprashya after finishing morning ablutions. Jalam water. Suchihi being purified. Vivikte concentration. Ekaha alone. Asinaha being thus seated. Udite on the rise. Ravi Mandale of the sun disk. Translation. Once upon a time, he, Vyasadeva, as the sun rose, took his morning ablution in the waters of Saraswati and sat alone to concentrate. Purport. The river Saraswati is flowing in the Badrikashrama area of the Himalayas. So the place indicated here is Samya Prash in Badrikashram, where Sri Vyasadeva is residing. Number 16. Paravara Jnana Sarishihi Kalena Avyakta Ramhasaha Yugdharma Praptam Bhuvi Yuge Yuge Par Para Avara Past and Future Jnana one who knows Sah he Rishi Vyasadeva Kalena by the time Avyakta unmanifested Ramhasa by great force Yugadharma acts in the terms of the millennium Vyatikaram anomalies Praptam having accrued Bhuvi on the earth Yuge Yuge different ages. Translation. The great sage Vyasadeva saw anomalies in the duties of the millennium. This happens on the earth in different age due to unseen force of time. The great sage like Vyasadeva are liberated souls and therefore they can see clearly past and future. Thus he could see the future anomalies in the Kali age and accordingly he made arrangement for the people in general so that they can execute a progressive life in this age which is full of darkness. People in general in this age of Kali are too much interested in matter which is temporary. Because of ignorance they are unable to evaluate the assets of life and be enlightened in spiritual knowledge. Next 17 and 18. भौतिकानां च भावानां शक्तिह्रासं च तत्कृतम् अर्षदधानान् निःसत्त्वान् दुर्मेधान् हर्षतायुषः दुर्भागंश्च ज्ञानविकित्सा विकिष्य मुनिर्दिव्येन चक्षुषः सर्ववर्णाश्रमं यद् दध्यौ हितम् अमोघदृक् bhotikanam cha also of everything that is made of matter bhavanam actions shakti harasam cha and deterioration of natural power tatkritam rendered by that ashatadhananam of the faithless nisatvan impatient due to want of mode of goodness durmedhan dull-witted rishita reduced ayusha of duration of life Durbhagancha, also the unlucky. Janan, people in general. Viksha, by seeing. Munihi, the Muni. Divyan, by transcendental. Chakshusha, vision. Sarva, all. Varna ashramana, of all the statuses and orders of life. Yet, what? Dadhyau, contemplated. Hitam, welfare. Amod Gudrik, one who is fully equipped in knowledge. The great sage, who was fully equipped in knowledge, could see through his transcendental vision that the deterioration of everything material due to influence of the age. He could also see that the faithless people in general would be reduced in duration of life and would be impatient due to lack of goodness. Thus he contemplated for the welfare of man in all statuses and orders of life. The unmanifested force of time are so powerful that they reduce all matter to oblivion in due course. In Kali Yuga, the last millennium of a round of 4 millenniums, the power of all material objects deteriorates by the influence of time. In this age, the duration of material body of the people in general is much reduced, and so is the memory. The action of matter has also not so much incentive. The land does not produce food grain in the same proportions as it did in other ages. The cow does not give as much milk as it is used to give formerly. The production of vegetables and fruits is less than before. As such, all living beings, both man and woman, men and animals, do not have sumptuous, nourishing food. Due to want of so many necessities of life, naturally the duration of life is reduced. The memory is short, intelligence is meager, mutual dealings are full of hypocrisy, and so on. The great sage Vyasadeva could see this by his transcendental vision. As an astrologer can see the future fate of a man, or an astrologer can foretell the solar and lunar eclipses, those liberated souls who can see through the scriptures can foretell the future of all mankind. They can see this due to their sharp vision of spiritual attainment. And all such transcendentalists who are naturally devotees of the Lord are always eager to render welfare service to the people in general. They are the real friends of the people in general, not the so called public leaders who are unable to see what is going on to happen 5 minutes ahead. In this age, the people in general, as well as their so called leaders, are all unlucky fellows, faithless in spiritual knowledge, and influenced by the age of Kali. They are always disturbed by various diseases. For example, in the present age, there are so many TB patients and TB hospitals. But formerly, this was not so because the time was not so unfavorable. The unfortunate men of this age are always reluctant to give a reception to the transcendentalist, who are representatives of Srila Vyasadeva, and selfless workers always busy in planning something which may help everyone in all statuses and orders of life. The greatest philanthropists are those transcendentalists who represent the mission of Vyasadeva, Narada, Madhava, Chaitanya, Rupa, Saraswati. They're all one and the same. The personalities may be different, but the aim of the mission is one and the same, namely to deliver the fallen souls back home, back to Godhead. Next. चातुर्होत्रं कर्म शुद्धं प्रजानां वीक्षया वेदिकम् व्याधाधाद्यज्ञसन्तत्यै वेदमेकं चतुर्विधम्. Chatuhu 4. Hotram, sacrificial fires. Karma Shuddham, purification of work. Prajananam, of the people in general. Vikshaya, after seeing. Vaidikam, according to Vedic rites. Vyadhadhat, made into. Yagna, sacrifice. Santatayai, to expand. Vedam Ekam, only one Veda. Chatuvidham, in 4 divisions. Translation. He saw that the sacrifices mentioned in the Vedas were means by which people's occupation could be purified. And to simplify the process, he divided one Veda into 4 in order to expand them among men. Formerly, there was only Veda of the name Yajur, and the 4 divisions of sacrifices were there specifically mentioned. But to make them more easily performable, the Veda was divided into 4 divisions of sacrifice, just to purify the occupational service of the 4 orders. Above the 4 Vedas, namely Rig, Yajur, Sama, Atharva, there are Puranas, Mahabharatas, Samhitas, etc., which are known as fifth Veda. Sri Vyasadeva and his many disciples were all historical personalities, and they were very kind and sympathetic towards the fallen souls of this age of Kali. As such, the Puranas and Mahabharata were made from related historical facts which explain the teachings of the 4 Vedas. There is no point in doubting the authority of the Puranas and Mahabharata as parts and parcels of the Vedas. In the Chandogya Upanishad 7.1.4, the Puranas and Mahabharata, generally known as histories, are mentioned as the fifth Veda. According to Jiva Goswami, that is the way of ascertaining the respective values of the revealed scriptures. Let's do one more. Maybe 2 more we can do. Rig Yaju Sama Atharvakhya Vedas Chatvara Udrataha Itihasa Puranam Cha Panchamo Veda Uchate. Rig, Yajuhu, Samaha, Atharva, Akhya, the names of 4 Vedas. Vedaha, the Vedas. Chatvaraha, 4. Udhrataha, made into separate parts. Itihasa, historical records, Mahabharata. Puranam cha, and the Puranas. Panchamaha, the 5th. Vedaha, the original source of knowledge. Uchyate is said to be. The four divisions of the original source of knowledge, the Vedas, were made separately, but the historical facts and authentic stories mentioned in the Puranas are called Fifth Veda. Next, 21st. तत्रग वेद धरा ऐलः सामगो जैमिनी कविः वैशम्पायन एवैको निस्नातो यजुसम्मुतः. Translation. After the Vedas were divided into four divisions, Paila Rishi became the professor of Rig Veda, Jaimini the professor of Samveda, Vaisampayana alone became glorified by the Yajurveda. Purport. The different Vedas were entrusted to different learned scholars for development in various ways. Next, 22. अथर्वाणी गिरा साम असित सुमंतुर दारुणो मुनिः इतिहास पुराणानां पिता मे रोमहर्षणः. Atharva, the Atharva Veda. Angira Sam, unto the Rishi Angira. Asit was entrusted. Sumantuhu, also known as Sumantu Muni. Darunaha, seriously devoted to Atharva Veda. Munihi, the sage. Itihasa Purananam, of the historical records and Puranas. Pita, father. Me, me, mine. Romaharshana, the Rishi Romaharshana. Translation. Sumantu Muni Angira, who was very devotedly engaged, was entrusted with Atharva Veda. And my father Romaharshana was entrusted with the Puranas and historical records. Purport. In the Shruti mantras, also, it is stated that Angira Muni, who strictly followed the rigid principles of Atharveda, was the leader of the followers of the Atharva Veda. Let's do one more and then we'll finish for today. Taeta Rishyo Vedam Swam Savam Vyasayan Anekadaha Shishyai Prasisyas Takchishyai Vedaste Sakhino Abhavan. They, ite, all these, Rishya, learned scholars, Vedam, the respective Vedas, Swam, in their own and trusted matters, Vyasyan, rendered, Anekadha, many, Shishyai, disciples, Prasishyai, grand disciples, Tat Shishyai, great grand disciples, Vedahate, followers of respective Vedas, Sakhinaha, different branches, Abhavan, thus became. Translation. All these learned scholars in their turn rendered their entrusted Vedas unto their many disciples, grand disciples, and great grand disciples. Thus, the respective branches of the followers of Vedas came into being. Purport. The original source of knowledge is the Vedas. There are no branches of knowledge, either mundane or transcendental, which do not belong to original text of the Vedas. They have simply been developed into different branches. They were originally rendered by great respectable, learned professors. In other words, the Vedic knowledge, broken into different branches by different disciplic successions, has been distributed all over the world. No one, therefore, can claim independent knowledge beyond the Vedas. So we'll stop here. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Vyasadev ki jai. Anybody has any question, correction, chastisement? All right. So if there is no question, so we'll wrap up here and we'll continue chanting. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhu bhevcha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaः. Anand Koti Vaishnavind ki jai. So thank you, dear devotees, for listening to me, and please forgive me if I have not recited properly.